What happens after enlightenment? Buddhist wisdom. What enlightenment and nirvana truly mean. What really happens when someone becomes enlightened? This question touches something deep in the human heart. Many of us have grown up hearing stories of magical powers, eternal life, or escaping this world to reach some perfect heaven. Some even imagine that an enlightened person has no emotions at all, like a rock. But the Buddha's teachings offer a much more grounded, much more profound answer, one that speaks directly to our real lives, here and now. Enlightenment, or Bodhi, is not about turning into someone else or gaining supernatural powers. It is a deep and quiet awakening. It means seeing the world and seeing ourselves with full clarity. This clear seeing is not clouded by desire, by dislike, or by confusion. It is a mind that understands the truth directly. And what truth is that? It is the Buddha's core teaching, the Four Noble Truths, the truth of suffering, its cause, its end, and the path that leads to its end. Enlightenment is when these truths are no longer just ideas, but are deeply seen and fully understood. At the heart of this awakening is something very simple, but very powerful: the complete end of mental suffering. This is what the Buddha called Nirvana, or Nibbana in Pali. Nirvana is not a place, and it is not just a peaceful mood. It is the extinguishing of three deep inner fires: the fire of craving, tanha, the fire of aversion, dosa, and the fire of ignorance, moha. When these fires go out, the suffering they create also ends. What remains is a state of freedom beyond all conditions, a state the Buddha described as the unconditioned element, nibbana dhatu. The mind becomes still, free from fear, free from anxiety, free from the push and pull of wanting and rejecting. It is complete peace. The Buddha taught in the Majjhima Nikaya, "Before and now, I only teach suffering and the end of suffering." His whole path, then, is a path to this freedom, to nirvana. So enlightenment is not about becoming something more. It's about waking up from confusion and finding peace that is already here. But why does this matter? Why is it so important to understand enlightenment and nirvana clearly? First, because we all wonder about life's biggest questions. We want to know what freedom truly means. We want to know if there is something beyond this cycle of ups and downs. Second, understanding this clears away many wrong ideas. Some think nirvana means going to a faraway heaven, or that the self disappears into nothing. But Buddhism teaches something much deeper and much more immediate. Third, and most important, this understanding helps us walk the path. It brings our focus back to this life, to this moment, and to the real possibility of ending suffering here and now. This isn't just a subject for scholars or philosophers. It shapes how we live, how we practice, and how we find peace in daily life. With this deeper understanding of what enlightenment and nirvana truly mean, we are now ready for the next question. How does an enlightened person actually live? Has their world completely changed, or do they still walk among us, just like before? Living with enlightenment, nirvana in this life. So, what really changes when someone becomes enlightened? Do they still live among us? Or do they somehow rise above the world and leave everything behind? The Buddha's teachings offer a clear and grounded answer. An enlightened being still lives a human life, but with a mind completely free from suffering. An enlightened person, often called an arahant or a Buddha, continues to do all the normal things in daily life, They eat, sleep, walk, talk, and interact with others. Their body still functions as any human body does. They feel hunger, thirst, fatigue, and even physical pain. If they accidentally bump into something or feel discomfort from illness, they still experience the physical sensation, just like anyone else. But this is where the true difference begins. In the Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha explained this clearly through a teaching called the two arrows. The first arrow is the pain of the body, a physical sensation. The second arrow is the mental reaction to that pain, such as anger, fear, or sorrow. While ordinary people feel both arrows, the enlightened person feels only the first. Their mind no longer reacts with confusion, resistance, or sadness. They see pain simply as it is, just a passing sensation, not something to fight or fear. This is what it means to live free from mental suffering, even in the middle of physical discomfort. Because their mind is no longer trapped by craving or clinging, an enlightened being lives in the world with full presence and compassion. Their actions arise from deep wisdom, panya, and are guided by the four divine qualities, Brahma Viharas: loving kindness, metta; compassion, karuna; joy in others' happiness, mudita; and a calm, balanced mind, upekkha. They care for others, teach, and take part in life's responsibilities, but without selfish motives or attachment to outcomes. Like a lotus flower that grows in muddy water yet stays untouched, they move through life with clarity and peace. As the Buddha said in the Dhammapada, just as a strong rock is not moved by the wind, so wise people are not moved by praise or blame. This is the quiet strength of one who has found inner freedom. This transformation also changes how they experience body and mind. The enlightened person still has what the Buddha called the five aggregates: body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. Their senses still work, their mind still thinks, but they no longer see these experiences as me or mine. There is no belief in a fixed self behind it all. It's like a well-tuned musical instrument. Music plays, but there is no player hidden inside. In the same way, the enlightened one uses body and mind as tools, without clinging to them as a personal identity. They live fully in the present, not lost in the past or worrying about the future. This is made possible through right mindfulness, right concentration, and right understanding, core elements of the Noble Eightfold Path. They clearly see that all things arise from causes and conditions, and that nothing stays fixed. Because of this deep understanding, their mind is not caught up in regret or expectation. Each moment is complete in itself. This state, enlightenment while still alive, is called nirvana with a body, sa upadesesa nibbana-dhatu. Here, body means the physical form and all the parts of experience that continue to function. The fires of craving, aversion, and ignorance have been completely extinguished. But the body remains, and like all bodies, it will still age, get sick, and die. For an enlightened person, however, the entire process that fuels rebirth has come to an end. They have stopped the cycle of samsara. The causes that give rise to new existence, desire, clinging, ignorance, have been uprooted. There will be no more becoming. The mind is deathless in the sense that it no longer falls into birth and death again. The body may still pass away, but the mind is already free. Because of this, an enlightened person has no fear of death. They have already let go of the very idea of a self that could die. They know that what is truly free cannot be harmed or destroyed. As the Buddha said in the Udana, Monks, there is something that is not born, not made, not created, not conditioned. If there were not this something, there would be no escape from what is born, made, created, and conditioned. This something is Nirvana, a state beyond all conditions, found and realized even while still alive. So, the true freedom of enlightenment is not about living forever. It's about living without fear, without confusion, and without suffering, right now. This deep peace is not far away. It is possible here, in this very life. After the body, the ultimate freedom beyond death. What truly happens when an enlightened being's physical body comes to an end? This is one of the deepest and often most misunderstood teachings in Buddhism. It brings us to the Buddha's message about the final and complete freedom that follows physical death. In the early texts, there is a well-known story about a seeker named Vasha. He once approached the Buddha with a direct question. Venerable Gautama, when a Tathagata, a fully enlightened one, passes away, does he still exist? Does he not exist? Does he both exist and not exist? Or does he neither exist nor not exist? To each of these, the Buddha gave no answer. These were called the undetermined questions, avyakata. Why the silence? The Buddha explained that such questions are based on ways of thinking built from opposites, like existing and not existing. But the state of a Tathagata after final passing, known as parinibbana, goes beyond all such ideas. It cannot be captured by our usual words, and trying to describe it only creates more confusion and attachment. The Buddha always pointed to what is useful, what leads to the end of suffering. He gently guided us away from empty speculation and toward a middle way that avoids fixed views, whether eternalist or nihilist. In the Agivakagata Sutta, the Buddha offered a powerful image to help Vaka understand. He said that when a fire goes out, we cannot say it went north, south, east, or west. It simply goes out because its fuel is gone. In the same way, when an enlightened one passes away, they are no longer tied to the conditions that would make them this or that. The Buddha said, like a flame blown out by the wind goes to rest and cannot be described, so the wise one freed from name and body goes to rest and cannot be described. This is not just a refusal to answer. It is a teaching in itself. It reminds us not to limit the boundless with small ideas. This final freedom is called Nirvana without a body. Anupadisesa Nibbana Dhatu. It refers to the complete cessation of all conditions that give rise to future life. The body and the five aggregates no longer function. But this is not the disappearance of a self, because the Buddha taught from the beginning, in the Anattalakkhana Sutta, that no fixed self ever existed. Instead, this is the full ending of the process of becoming, the cycle of birth and rebirth. It is like a seed that has been cooked. Though it may still look like a seed, it can no longer sprout or grow. In the same way, all the conditions that once led to future birth are completely gone. This is the end of all becoming. It is true, total freedom. Even though the body of the Buddha, or an Arahant, no longer remains, their greatest offering does, the Dhamma. The teachings are the true refuge. They continue to show the way to peace and freedom for countless beings. In the Vakali Sutta, the Buddha once said, "Whoever sees the Dhamma, sees me." The final state of nirvana is a peace that is not shaken by anything. It is beyond all suffering. beyond becoming, beyond conditions. It is the end of the path, the full release. And what truly lives on is the wisdom and compassion they leave behind, the way they walked, the truth they shared, and the light they passed on. This becomes a source of strength for those who continue the journey. Instead of wondering what happens after death, the Buddha encourages us to focus on the present, to realize freedom in this life, with this very mind and body. Practical wisdom, bringing enlightenment into your life today. At this point, you might be wondering, this all sounds meaningful, but what does it have to do with my life right now? The beautiful truth is, you don't have to be fully enlightened to begin walking this path. Even small steps can bring real peace and clarity into your daily life. At the heart of the Buddha's teaching is a gentle but powerful practice: learning to let go. This doesn't mean giving up everything you care about or rejecting the world around you. Instead, it means softening the tight grip we often have on our beliefs, our possessions, our roles, and even our idea of who we are. Letting go means relating to life with more ease, especially when things don't go according to plan. It helps us stay balanced in times of uncertainty, change, or disappointment. As you slowly practice this letting go, you may begin to notice a shift. Mental suffering lessens. Peace grows. You become more open to life as it is, not just as you wish it to be. A key to this practice is mindfulness. When you observe your thoughts and emotions without being carried away by them, you start to understand how your mind works. You see how clinging, resisting, or wanting things to be different creates stress. Through this simple awareness, you begin to loosen the causes of your own pain. Each small moment of letting go brings more lightness and freedom into your life, starting now. This path also touches how we live with others. When we let go of selfish expectations in relationships, something opens. We begin to respond with more honesty, patience, and care. Love becomes less about needing and more about giving. True compassion arises, not because we want something in return, but because we feel connected to others in a deeper way. The more we release self-centered thinking, the more our actions naturally aim to reduce suffering, for ourselves and for others. And as we stop chasing after desires or pushing away discomfort, a quiet happiness appears. We begin to find joy in ordinary things: a warm cup of tea, a kind gesture, the sound of wind in the trees. These moments are not small, they are full of life. The Buddha taught that the path to freedom is not something far away. It is available now. Nirvana is not only a final goal, it is also a way of living with awareness and clarity in each moment. The journey of awakening begins with understanding, continues through steady effort, and grows through direct experience. To support us, the Buddha gave the Noble Eightfold Path. Here are a few ways you can bring it into your life today. Right conduct, sila. Follow the 5 precepts. These include not harming others, not stealing, speaking truthfully, and avoiding intoxicants. They help create harmony in your relationships and a clear foundation for inner peace. Right concentration, samadhi. Spend even just 10 minutes each day with your breath. As you breathe in and out, notice what you feel, pleasant or unpleasant. Watch without judging or reacting. This simple practice helps protect the mind from being struck by that second arrow. Right wisdom, panya. Gently reflect on impermanence, suffering, and non-self. When something unexpected happens, like missing an appointment or being stuck in traffic, pause and notice, is your discomfort coming from the situation or from your mind resisting it? I invite you to explore these teachings not just as ideas, but as living tools. Practice them with patience. Let them guide you inward. The Buddha's answer to life after enlightenment is not about some faraway state. It is about waking up right here. It is about freeing the heart from suffering, living with wisdom and kindness, and discovering a deep peace beyond all words. This peace, this nirvana, is not a place to reach. It is a way of seeing, a way of being. It begins now, with the next breath, the next thought, the next act of letting go. May this path inspire you. May it bring clarity, courage, and compassion into your life. The journey is yours to walk. Begin today.